I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
I don't know. I have to check on that. And you know, they expect...
Check it.
Yeah,
why don't you check it? Joe, why don't you check it, okay? Because I'd like you to. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, okay?
So, you know, here we go. So you did get the highest number of votes in Texas, so that's true. But when you're talking about...
then you don't have to say anything more, Joe.
Perhaps the best example of gerrymandering and redistricting is, again, the example given by President Trump of Massachusetts, where Republicans earn something like 40% of a general vote, but have 0% representation in Congress. Joining me now is Texas State Representative and GOP Caucus Chair Tom Oliverson. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us here today. Let's talk about your Democrat colleagues who have fled to Illinois. Have you spoken to any of those representatives, and do they plan to return to Texas?
Well, I know that the Speaker's office is in communication with them. I'm not aware of any immediate plans for them to return. I think we were 6 votes short of a quorum today. We had 94. We needed 100. So we have some Democrats that are present. We only have 88 Republicans in the caucus, but we're short 6 votes. We are coming in again for the next big day. Next big check will be Friday. And by that time, we believe that we will have more of our Democrat colleagues back in state.
All right, so it's your belief that they're going to fracture off, not stay unified. Not all, I believe it's roughly 51 Democrats who have fled, will remain in places like New York or Illinois?
Well, not all of them are in Illinois. Some of them went to New York. Some of them went to Massachusetts. We know of one who's actually gone overseas. Some are still here in Texas. And so we believe that yes, we think they are going to fracture, and we believe they'll come back. I mean, you know, they've done this to us before. I was here in 2021. So was our Speaker, Dustin Burrows. We lived through this. They stayed gone for 50 days. They got absolutely nothing accomplished. They came back. We passed the bills that they didn't want us to pass anyway. And so they came back after 50 days, had nothing to show for it. And we expect the only difference this time is that they're going to get even less and be gone in even shorter period of time.
I wasn't aware that some of those Democrats have remained in the state of Texas. I assume you're referring to those who have stayed in the state of Texas but yet haven't shown up for the vote to provide a quorum. Governor Greg Abbott has said that he wants to see those members arrested. Of course, the state of Texas has limited power to effectuate an arrest warrant in the state of Illinois or New York, but he would have power here in the state of Texas. Do you think we could see that over the next couple of days for any of those representatives that stayed in state?
Yeah, I think you can, Will. And I think, you know, there's 2 other things that are going on here. About an hour ago, Attorney General Ken Paxton indicated that he would be moving forward or seeking to have their seats vacated no later than Friday, if in fact they failed to show up by Friday, which is something that's been talked about, hasn't been done before, would certainly trigger a legal battle, but would probably go directly to the Texas Supreme Court for deliberation. There's also an issue that was raised by Governor Abbott. I'm not a lawyer, Will, but Governor Abbott is a lawyer. He's a former judge. He's our former attorney general, and he believes that some of them are actually actively fundraising dollars to pay for the fines that they are incurring from the House for not being present. And Governor Abbott believes, and I support his notion, that this is actually a felony bribery. So if it should be the case that they get charged with a felony, then yeah, I think you'll see even out-of-state folks may end up being subject to arrest.
All right, we'll have to watch that coming from the Attorney General's office. One last quick question for you, Representative. The representatives who are still in the state of Texas, I'm curious how this plays out over the next couple of days. You could get a quorum. There's only 6 or so, you said, who are missing. Right. So they could be hauled back in, arrested and hauled back in for that vote. There's a lot of things they're holding up, right? Besides this redistricting vote, there's flood relief to Kerrville. Some Democrats have stayed. Have you spoken to those Democrats? What do they say about their colleagues?
Yeah, I have. And what they've said is that, they feel very strongly that they're representing their constituents better by being here, that the fight is here, it's not in Illinois. And that, right now, as you and I are speaking, there's a hearing ongoing in our Capitol examining 5 potential pieces of legislation to address the horrific flooding and mass casualty incidents that we had in Central Texas, where clearly our emergency preparedness system was not up to the task in an area where cell phones don't typically reach very well, and flooding came rapidly in the middle of the night, much like a unpredicted tornado might tear through the Midwest. And, we've got to figure this out. And so they've abandoned this entire conversation out of their panic and fear over redistricting.
Exactly. All right. Representative Oliverson, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Will. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.